Hi guys, welcome to Hustle Hasil. Untuk episod Hustle Hasil kali tu, kami berada di Batu Kawah. Kali tu kami akan interview dengan seseorang yang mempunyai kepelbagaian dalam bisnesnya. So kita mau tahu, stay tune.
Running round double one, we all out, yeah. Running round Batu Kawah, we all out, yeah. Running round somebody and we all out, yeah. Yeah. Now we all out, yeah. Running round Lontong Baru, we all out.
Nama kami Ashweein Narayanan, and kami berasal dari Kuching, Sarawak. At the moment, safe to say, under my wing, I run about like 10 separate companies lah, and 6 of them are under the Amogha Maju group, and the other 4 are actually like kira-kira subsidiary lah, yang subsidiary to the main group.
Boleh kita ceritakan sikit dari sini bermulanya dan tercetusnya idea mau buka bisnes kita tu?
Okay, before I go deep into that, I ceritakan a little bit about myself, so that I can sort of connect the idea on how it came about for all my business endeavours lah. Alright, so kami actually, my background in education is actually in engineering. Okay, but besides doing engineering work, I also, besides being a serial entrepreneur in engineering work, I also moved to go into the creative scene quite a bit as well lah. So I'm involved in some acting and some singing and stuff like that. But one thing that really gave me the boost to like start going seriously masuk business was because aku tu jenis yang I can't really just stick to one thing. I really have to do like a lot of things, like people call polymath and stuff like that. Kami pun how to say, inspirasi, and kami pun macam drive to do a lot of things usually pushes me to very interesting places and new horizons. And most of them would involve me having an open mind to see that okay, tak boleh dijadikan business, tak boleh dijadikan like an entrepreneurship journey, or tak boleh dijadikan something to inspire, to bring up like more potential motivation to go into the works that I do. And also because most of the businesses that I'm running right now also came and was stemmed from the fact that kami pun parents started the company before. So like Amogha group of companies was actually started from my father, Captain Narayanan, and my mother, Dr. Lalita. So Sidak yang actually started the concept of Amogha group of companies with a few companies, and when I finished my education and after I finished my work with a renowned oil and gas company like Petronas and stuff, I decided to come back to Kuching and nolong Sidak to run the businesses at first. And then after that, I actually opened a few other companies to help them streamline their efforts and help them to make the conglomerate bigger lah and better. So over time, I noticed that Nang style Sida is like they have like a few set of companies that they, or few set of styles that they want to do it. So I figured that it's time for me to open my own company and start something from scratch on my own as well. So the general idea also behind how these companies mostly operate is that like our main company, which is our training center, Harina Skills Training Center, or we call them Amogha Maju Sdn Bhd. They are actually basically the spine to all our works. So kira dia kedap macam backbone lah. So a lot of the training programs that we run in our training center, like vocational training and stuff like that, nya akan involve some skills training that we are actually developing. And the nature of the training that we pola is on top of providing the training, we also need to provide them sort of like a job opportunity at the end of it as well. And most of these programs are actually funded by the government. Ada yang fully sponsored, ada yang partial sponsored, and ada yang ambil loan and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So dalam bisnes tadi kita antara orang penting juga lah.
Yes, correct.
So macam dari segi cabaran kita tahu nak COVID, pandemic, how kita overcome and manage the situation.
Okay, so one very big thing that, one very big problem that was faced by entrepreneurs during the pandemic, of course, was mainly staffing lah. Because when the company is stretched to be very big, you know, you have a very big workforce, you have involvement in a lot of different industries, memang does affect the business terribly as well. But actually a very good part of why I'm involved in so many lines of business is diversification is key. Mun kita si diversify, memang susah to manage. So I actually decided to go ahead and do my doctorate as well in business admin during these tough times. People will say like, oh, orang tengah pandemic kau masih mau pergi belajar lagi. But actually this is the perfect time to take a step back and actually realize that everything we are doing, if we actually document it properly, is a very interesting business endeavor, and no one else ever has gone through this. Everyone is going through it in the world, but no one has gone through it before. During like kita punya parents' time and all, how they used to run business, how they survived through those economic downturns of like 1999 and all lain gila kini tu. So if I want to go to my parents and ask how do we get through this pun si dapat. Their guess is as good as mine. We all don't know what to do. We have to try doing new things and innovate as we go along.
So Lavastra Boutique tu yang menyediakan design-design macam ni, boleh kita terangkan sikit?
Kami orang tak lebih kepada Indian design. Of course, the material pun kebanyakan memang Indian. But our tailors are local and they are not only taught how to make the Indian design costume, but we can do almost everything. So as you can see here, our fashion is mostly fusion fashion. It is mixed between batik, Sarawak motifs and sari in total. So that is what our forte is.
Of course, dalam handle business tu kita akan rasa stress nak. So how do you manage and how is your mental well-being?
Okay. Yes, that's true. It is quite stressful to run many companies lah. Sebab each and every company yang kita run, we have to have like one mindset to run the different kind of the specific kind of companies. In terms of like my physical well-being, of course a lot of workout lah. Is because you can only do as many things as your body is able to do. We've been hearing cases of body giving way ataupun macam badan si tahan, although the person is very active, the person is very out there doing a lot of things, but sebab badannya si tahan, something happens to them and they're not able to do the best that they can. So nya rasa very sayang lah if you're not able to do the best that you can because of bodily limitations. So I tend to do a little bit of home exercises. Kini tu MCO, we cannot go to gym and stuff like that. So I stay in a condo. So what we do is we just walk up all the way to the top floor and then like maybe jog all the way back down and stuff like that lah. That's in terms of physical well-being. In terms of mental well-being, I think what's very important is that having a group of people that you can constantly be sharing your similar thoughts with. Perlu ada macam kawan-kawan yang sama geng. Constantly communicating from time to time, because kita sometimes rasa boleh tahan emo also. We sometimes feel it's a very lonely journey. The entrepreneurship journey sometimes feels very lonely from time to time. It takes a real toll on your mental well-being. I'm a bit lucky and blessed that I have my family involved with me in the business as well. So it's not very difficult for me to explain to them when sometimes I'm very busy. Sometimes I say dah masa gila for them. Sometimes I have too much time in my hands and stuff like that. Other than that, also one of the ways that I dealt with my mental health was I went very much deep into my creative side as well. So I started to do a lot of music. For those of you who don't know, I also have like a rap moniker called Macha Kacamata, sebab ngambil macha yang berkacamata. So I've got a few songs out there. Some of my songs are actually on Hits FM right now on the Bad 10 chart. One song is actually on Cats FM as well. So that was quite interesting lah, because taking a small break from business a little bit to do something fun, and then I realized that I was able to actually link that persona back into my work as well. While I was doing my comedian rapper thing, I managed to get a few acting gigs with TVS, and that actually like boosted me to then open my videography company and realize that kami ada banyak idea, maybe time to put that into fruition. So I work together with industry heavyweights so that we can make something happen. And that's some of the ways that I sort of deal with it lah. I know it sounds funny, macam ni kau take care of your mental well-being from work by going into more work. But it depends on the different kind of work sometimes. Like different kind of work gives different kind of satisfaction. And sometimes that satisfaction helps a lot for us to stay on track and stay on path. Yeah.
Dalam banyak cabaran nanti ada juga kenangan manis nak. What is your macam the best achievement yang kita siapa lupa lah, antara kenangan manis sepanjang kita dalam bisnes tau.
So one of the other companies that that I opened is called Harapan Anak Orang Sarawak, or known as House Kuching. So those of people who've been following updates from the local social media, they will actually know that like House Kuching is actually a creative community hub. Kami is based in Pending, and it's actually started with me and 6 other of my friends. We are basically directors and the owners of the company. And the idea behind that was, during the pandemic, the first thing we got the chance to do was to do a face shield project under Jaga Sama Diri. So that was the first thing that I realized. All my other companies tidak dapat apa-apa, I could focus on this side because we actually have the community effort to actually bring in all the makers within Kuching to come in together and be part of this project. From then on, I started to see that like, hey, you know, during the pandemic time, kita tahu nak, banyak orang will be at home and looking for content. Either creative content, either non-fiction content, or content, just content generally speaking. So then the need for like videography, the need for like entertainment, the need for like all the creative arts industry is supposed to increase by a lot. But there's not a lot of allocation. Nang ong si dapat match gila. Like why is it like we need entertainment but we're not paying the artists enough, and there's always a struggle of providing content, and you start having substandard content in between, or content dari Sarawak yang perlu diambil dari luar. So that was a very good time that TVS started to come in and all that. So what happened from then on was that I realized all these years of me building up my portfolio and building up my profile from the different things I'm doing, there's finally like a very proper and direct way for me to showcase all of this. So even like, you know, the program we are on now as well is very helpful for entrepreneurs and like startups like us. You know, we need all the kind of support and help. And being involved in the creative scene directly, for me, one kenangan manis is that we actually opened videography company, me and a local videographer by the name of Sydney Atin. It's called Ensera Sendirian Berhad. And we've been getting so many projects and so many content out there under the company. So it feels like very satisfying sebab bukan lama kami orang running this, you know. Kira macam baru jua. A lot of COVID babies and a lot of pandemic babies and, you know, pandemic companies are coming up to be. And to be fairly successful to this level, it is very inspiring lah. So we realized that during tough times, ni ada sikit saying, tough times don't last but tough people do. So if you can stay tough during this very, very tough time, you realize that, actually diversifying your work and finding like other alternative to what you're doing can get you to the finish line, and you are much better than where you are when you started.
On the track, kita build hustle, di jalanan racks and racks. We keep going, data pemain simpan. Casey boys on the go, keep it low, flex on one. Budak kampung hustle macam pemilik perumahan. Running round kampung Dombo, we all out, yeah. Running round Petra Jaya, we all